So we were talking about cultural fit between buyer and seller. Mike, you had something you wanted to
Well,
say.
Andre, mentioned, I think you said strike one, on a buyer, for doing whatever you said.
Yeah, well, it's the idea of the disconnect between what we talk about, the verbal, and the words,
Right.
and the actual, and the actions,
Right.
and the manifestation of those words in the contract.
So I know you've had this recent experience. I have as well, where a buyer verbally communicated to me verbally that the offer was going to come in at X, and when we got and I'm kicking myself for even sharing that. But as information comes in, we're inclined to share it with our clients. But we get the LOI, and the purchase price was 20% less than what I had shared with the client. So I'll say strike two. Like, you can't do that. And look, at the end of the day, the offer was stellar, and we eventually got there. But a lot of this is perception, right? I mean, and to think you have an offer at X and then come in at Y, it's problematic, because at the end of the day, they're thinking about, okay, we're going to counter X and get to this number, but didn't happen that way. So, again, buyers, just be cautious in that delivery, because it has meaning,
Yeah.
right? I mean, and it has meaning. And look, I don't know. I mean, I think at this point I'm done negotiating until I have something in writing.
Well, that's the thing too,
moving
is that
forward.
we're as, because we're quasi fiduciaries to our client, and as advisors to a client, where do we not share information? Because I'm at the point too where unless it's written down,
Yeah.
it's not worth talking about.
Yeah.
But
It was exciting though. It was like, wow.
But
like,
it is,
yeah,
and
it's like-
you're on this team.
Yeah.
And you feel like you just you just broke away for a lot of yardage, right, on this
Right.
on this, and you want to share that with your team, the client, the other folks that are on the deal, but you have to really hit it with a pound of salt and say, look, this is what they said. Now let's see if this is what they do, and
Right.
then I think that's helpful too, because you can say, I want you to not get caught up in the expectation, in the emotion of this, and I want you to now go objectively and look at this and say, okay, they said they were going to do this. Do they actually do it?
Right.
They said they were going to show up. Did they actually show up? Because ultimately, it's really in the showing up. It's really in what they
Yeah.
do and how they act that matters.
And to that point, it's such an anxious time for a seller.
Yeah.
This is probably the first and only time they'll ever embark on a sale process. And communication, again, all these cliches. I mean, all of these matter. I mean, you as a seller and us as their intermediary shouldn't be waiting, days, weeks even, to hear back on a rebuttal or regurgitation of information that we've provided, some kind of response. We shouldn't always have to be on the offensive, right? It needs to be, 50-50, and that gets deals into trouble. I mean,
Yeah.
that, again, you talk
Yeah.
about trust. I mean, that erodes trust.